Welcome to Nigeria's biggest talk show, The Big Talk on Global Television. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's broadcast. And this episode promises to be exciting. Already, it's no big news that on Tuesday, the Nigeria Labour Congress, alongside other trade unions like the TUC, embarked on a nationwide strike action pointing to the direction of the way their president, Joe Ajaero, was manhandled in Imo State. And that since then, the country had known no peace. And the strike action has affected all sectors of our life in terms of the education sector, the power sector, and the economy in total. And but some good news. 5 hours ago, we had Nuhu Ribadu, who is the chieftain of the National Security Advisor, who has come out to say the suspects who allegedly manhandled Ajaero have been arrested. And so that gave the leeway for some bit of negotiation. And news reaching us did tell us that a few hours ago, the meeting between the TUC, the NLC, the National Security Advisor, and the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, came out positive, with the Minister announcing that hopefully the trade unions will be going back to talk to their own members and probably come out with something positive. And we hope the very best is what we expect. And just to let you know, at 7 p.m. dot, we are hoping to hear from the joint press conference between the TUC and NLC as regards what they have decided to come forward with. That's going to be the fulcrum of our big talk this evening on Global Television. As usual, customary, we get the finest minds to ensure that we get a very clear and positive analysis, unbiased analysis of salient issues. And today is no different, as we've got Engineer Toba Owojaye, who has also been a media aide to Senator Ahmed McAfee, so definitely he knows what he's doing. And we've got him in the studio. Nice to have you. The big box said, it took us like a month to get into the studio.
Sorry, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. It's a wonderful time.
All right. All right, thank you very much. All right, let's kick into the main, the big talk of the day. The big talk is the NLC, the strike action being embarked upon by the NUC, the TUC, and the NLC. Before we get to the main the breaking news right now, let's go back to the start. Has this confirmed that the strike action was technically a personal vendetta rather than for the interest of Nigerian workers?
Yeah, I would say that largely, but I also celebrate the NSA
all right.
for saying this is not a political matter. He first of all said there's no political undertone, which is the best way to resolve it. Once you do not take it as a political undertone, you now take it as two fighting. Somebody beat somebody.
Okay.
Remove the chairman from it, remove the party from it, remove the election environment that was around it. Somebody punched somebody. Who punched somebody? So find the person. Why did you punch him? So straight up, he was able to handle it from that aspect. But you cannot remove the political angle from analysts like us, because I don't see why the national chairman of NLC is going to a state few days to the election to go and join a protest for salaries that have not been paid for 4 months. Why? What is the urgency of going to protest 5 days to the election? So it has a political undertone that cannot be washed away, and these are the things we expect whenever the leader of a union is in the opposition. You would always see this squabble come up.
Can we say there's some bit of both parties being economical with the truth and insincerity on the part of the federal government, the NLC, the trade unions, the actors in this quagmire? Because you look at the fact that the NLC kept saying it wasn't because the Ajaero was manhandled. It was for the interest of the Nigerian workers. And now, why did it take the NSA so long a time for them to come out and say, okay, we've arrested a suspect, and they regret the actions? Why did it take them that long?
You know, every strike that had planned to come up, they were able to wave it off last minute. But this one, there was no last minute waving to it. They just woke up and found out the strike was going on yesterday, so they knew this was serious, and this was very personal, because the trade union wants you to know that if you can malhandle our apex man, then you can manhandle any of us. So we have to make you value him. So there's a political angle to it, surely.
But doesn't that make, should the reality on Nigerian workers and the civil servants and the citizens of the country be that the NLC is not being truthful to itself, to the mandate of protecting the rights of Nigerian workers and citizens? Because obviously this looks like it's more of a personal...
Yes, it clearly looks more personal, but you see...
So what impression do you think is going to make to the workers and the citizens?
America's president coming to Nigeria and somebody slapping him. There's no way they would go... The American government would say, you just slap...
But you rightly pointed out that workers have been owed for 4 months. Why...
Yes, there's a political angle to it. You cannot remove that. But in the settlement of this, the government, we're in a country that's bleeding. The country is bleeding badly. So if we can't afford 2 weeks of a strike for any reason, we can't presently afford 2 weeks of a strike. We're going to have issues. I have a friend who came all the way from USA for a meeting yesterday, and it couldn't take place because he was supposed to see somebody in an office. And he's stayed another day. He has paid an extra day. So it's going to affect a lot of things. The government wanted to leave it as an emo affair. But right now, the strike is everywhere, so it has become a...
Does this make the NLC more powerful?
Yes, surely. You beat me and then the whole country is shut down.
But shouldn't this be something of a worry to Mr. President, knowing fully well that this started more of a personal vendetta and now they can hold the country to ransom? Should this make the government start thinking of way to break the wings of the NLC if they're beginning to use their,
Yeah, it's going to continue. Sadly, it's going to continue, and it may get worse, like you've said. Once they've been able to push the government back they're going to go at it again, and then you will now see more organizations coming up. You will see ASUP.
Because ASUP had already
joined. Is going to now say, oh, we can. So once we get beaten, we can get what we want. Let's get beaten. So.
Let's look at the NSA in close scrutiny at the NSA. They've come out to say the alleged suspects have been arrested. Do you think there's sincerity in that? Are we going to see what is going to convince us that yes, these are the suspects? Is it when they get publicly shown, or they get prosecuted and truly probably sent to jail? What will be your assessment because the NLC have said they are not sure if the suspects are real, if the arrest was real, and they were going to look into it before they make consultation and decide.
Yeah, the government is doing a smart one in this. I produced 2 guys, and I claim these 2 guys beat you.
Okay.
So what am I going to jail them for? I can't jail them for beating. There's no special jail sentence for beating an NLC chairman.
Okay.
This is 2 fighting. So we've arrested them. Who beat him? This person who punched him. Who punched him? Send him to court. Court, why did you punch him? It's going to be, it's not, you can't raise it to a very large area. What you can do is what you're already doing. Hold the country to ransom.
Then what of the Commissioner of Police? Because that was one of the demands of the trade union.
That he be sacked.
He be sacked or maybe redeployed. Do you see that happening?
He can be redeployed, but I don't see him being sacked. He will tell you he didn't get to his table early. You remember that there was a letter that was shown to the NLC chairman by a court order that the strike shouldn't take place.
Yes.
And he said the strike will take place because the court order has expired. This we cannot verify. Okay? So in all of this, they were saying they were backed by law. He was saying he was backed by law. The police officer will say, well, my men were there to maintain the peace. 2 people started fighting. Somebody punched somebody.
All right, let's look at the trade union in close contact. We had Festus Osifo, who is the president of the TUC, coming out to say, okay, on Tuesday, the first day, the strike wasn't very effective because the circular came out late, but fast forward to Wednesday, the compliance was total. Do you agree with his analysis, and do you think that is a good remark from someone who has seen school children sent back home, seen power cuts in the country, economic activities on the downturn? Does that sound like someone who is patriotic?
You see, Labour is at a fix. Labour is supposed to represent the people. The purchasing power of the Naira is getting weaker.
Okay.
So the masses are crying. And if the Labour's action can get the president to start backtracking on a few things, they're hoping they can get him to backtrack on more. And as much as the people are sad, they are happy. If fuel goes to 450 and NLC tells you...
But this question wasn't for the
no,
fear.
I'm just saying,
yeah.
they're just showing you
okay.
this is an arm wrestling.
Okay.
I hit your hand down on you beating me, and then I have strength. I can now try something else. So the people are slightly behind them, but people didn't expect it to really take place. The first day, people were like, this is the same cry wolf over and over again. But
okay.
the first day now showed that these guys they are serious on this. So people took them more seriously.
All right.
By today.
Okay, you've been, I just want you to draw from your experience being the media aide to former Senator Ahmed McAfee. What is in the mind of our political leaders when such things occur? Because we saw the Senate calling on NLC and the TUC to actually suspend the strike action, call it off. What's your take on that?
As a politician, first of all, you will be afraid. You may not show it, but we have a president who, by the records, had 36.6% of votes, meaning that though he won the majority of votes, he had 36.6%, meaning that the opposition had 63.6 there, or 4.
The opposition joined together?
Yes, joined together.
Okay.
Had more votes. So more people are unhappy with your government than people happy with your government. Do you understand? So from that way, people want, not so many people are wishing you well. To be honest, the government knows this. Not so many people are wishing you well, and anything that happens and looks like the government takes a slap, some people feel some comfort from that.
So
the NLC is
are they cashing in on that?
And they're cashing in on it. It's as clear as that.
But if we go with your analysis...
If you hear Tinubu is sick today, some people will be happy.
Okay, if we go by your analysis, would you say that means the 2023 general elections, the presidential elections specifically, there was something faulty about it? That if the votes didn't count for the right persons?
No, I think, in my personal opinion, I believe Tinubu won the election.
Why?
But, because I've weighed from different states. I have many contacts in different states. I know that most of the people, I look at the result of the Senate election. We have only one, for example.
You didn't think the power of incumbency played a role in that election?
I don't even think the APC was on Tinubu's side for the first 3 months, for the last 3 months of the election. I think it was the last 6 weeks of the election was when APC had to back in to support Tinubu.
Why did you think that?
Yeah, because you could see the ex-president wasn't showing up at rallies,
Well, he always had the health challenges, we know that.
It was very fine. He finally showed up at some rallies, but it was very late and he had to be pushed by El-Rufai and a lot of people. So what I'm saying is that I believe Tinubu won because I could look at the same votes that happened in the Senate, which took place on the same day, and the House of Rep. Labour Party has only one senator in the northern part of Nigeria, which is Abuja. So every other northern state doesn't have. But in the south, you see 6 more on this axis. So that shows you that there was a domination of his votes on this axis without a replication of that in the north. So without that blend, and then the opposition was divided. Never forget that. I said they got 63% of the votes. They got more votes, but their votes were shared.
Okay, let's get back to the NLC and meeting with Simon Lalong Bako, who is the Minister of Employment, Labour and Employment. Let's look at this meeting. There was a comment that because of the security implications of this strike, that was why the meeting was held at the NLC's office. Do you think technically the federal government wanted to cow the trade unions by taking that meeting to such a very sensitive office and probably giving them some bit of,
You see, if you handle that matter as a trade issue, then you have more problems.
Okay.
So it's better to handle it as a security matter.
Okay.
Two people are fighting.
Yeah, but do you think technically the trade union might have been cowed with the fact that the security presence and everything that went on with the meeting? And how do you think that meeting must have gone for NLC to have said, okay, we are going to go back to our people and probably revert back to Nigerians?
Yeah, they would have to go front and back and see what they can do. But the NSA was present. Labour minister was present, meaning that there was a balance, because this has a security undertone, which is why Ribadu led the discussions. Let's handle this as a security matter. A man was beaten. Let's remove his position. Let's remove his class.
Okay.
Let's find out who did that. Let's arrest that person. Let's find out if there was any negligence of the police, because you're asking for him to be sacked or transferred. If they can find negligence, then they can transfer him. If you transfer him now, I don't see how it changes anything. But if that is what they wish for, the government has to pay them.
Do you expect, as an analyst, having seen things play out in Nigeria, what will be your expectations in the coming hour, especially by 7, when we hope the trade union might be coming out with a statement? Do you see them coming out to say the strike action has been suspended, or you're likely to see them want to play hardball?
I see them suspending the strike action, but I see them planning something bigger, because once you get some, you get one victory, you go for more. Okay,
there's this school of thought that says these labor unions, they seem to be strategic in their strike actions. Yes. Towards festive period, they do this to get the interest of the government, and when they come to the round table, the boys are made smiling, yes, they go out, and the next thing, this action is, do you think we might see that play out? And if that's the case, if the strike action is quickly suspended, would you suspect a foul play?
No, I expect it to be, because the issue has been addressed. The issue has been addressed, and I'm sure the president...
Addressed by just saying we've got suspects arrested?
Yes, they would have to render an apology, whoever's office is there. But the issue is, who is going to render you that apology?
But the fact that the Imo State government, that actually wasn't part of the meeting, does that say a lot?
Yes, they want to handle. I expected him to be there, but
yes,
it may have heated up things. You know, you want to resolve the issue and not prolong the issue. So I know that he's going to. I think he has apologized, if I remember well.
That he just did a disclaimer to say his government had no hand in whatever happened to the NLC president.
Yes, he may have to do a full apology for not taking it as seriously. That's what he would. I guess he would.
Okay.
I didn't take it as seriously as I should. I had not met him. I had not seen the extent of things. We were having an election. We were busy. He has enough good excuses to tell you why he couldn't see you all this time. They had an election, and he was busy trying to win his election. So he would just tell you, I didn't see you. I had work. I had this. I'm sorry. They will have a coffee. Always remember their politicians. Even the NLC. So they will discuss this at one point, they will laugh about it. I don't fight for politicians. One of my rules in life is never to fight for a politician.
Why?
Because they would say to some other day and you look like the fool.
Okay, let's look at, on a closer look now, with the stage we're in now. Yeah. What will be your expectations for the Labour Party? Because one of the accusations is the fact that the NLC president, Ajaero, seemed to be partisan, knowing that Labour Party is like an offshoot of the NLC. Do you think he's playing...
I think Peter Obi was very smart to go for Labour Party among all the other options he had, because Labour Party is naturally affiliated to Labour, to the unions. So you cannot blame the Labour Party for being affiliated to Labour unions.
So can we say technically Ajaero's presence in Imo was definitely...
I hear he's from Imo State.
Yes.
If he's from Imo State, he has the right to join the protest, but He
at the
needs
time.
to remember that he is the president.
Okay, just a final one. We've got lawyers and civil society organizations calling for the labor leaders to be arrested because they feel they were sabotaging the nation with their actions. Don't you think, to an extent, that's true?
Yeah, it's true, but you can't call for their arrest.
Why? Are they above the law?
Because they have not committed any crime so far.
They're shutting down the country in such a way.
It's not a crime. It's their responsibility.
All right, I want to say a big thank you to our guest, Toba Owojaye. He's been amazing helping us look at the federal government and the labor unions crisis. Already we're expecting a positive announcement by 7 o'clock when the trade unions will be making announcements as regards they are successful, according to the Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, who said the meeting was a success. And so we hope that we're going to get something positive so that Nigeria can get back on track. I want to say a big thank you for joining me in the studios.
Thank you very much for having me. I had fun.
All right, so that's how we call it a wrap on the Big Talk on today's edition. My name is Anthony Momodi saying thank you for joining me. Make sure you keep on watching Global Television. We've got so much more for you. Good evening.